Well, happy Tuesday, August 8th, everybody. This is Coach Joe Lucas. Hey, hope you're off to a great start so far this week. I want to talk a little bit this morning about a conversation I had just yesterday, Monday, with a client. And what we were discussing is how do you protect your margin? So, whether you're doing just a pure AUM margin or you've got a planning fee and an AUM or just a planning fee, whatever your model is, let's face it, we're going to have fee compression. It's going to become more, it's interesting. There'll be a lot more opportunities, right? But it'll be more competitive from a fee perspective. So a little bit, you kind of like a little bit yin and yang here. So how do you really rise above all your competitors? How do you add max value? How do you lock in clients at such a deep level you're like part of the family, right? They'll never consider getting rid of you. And along with that is that you'll have your margins handled in terms of not having to worry about discounting and fees and everything else. So how do you do that? Well, first off, if your clients start thinking about you as a service, right? Oh, your investment service or your planning service or whatever it is service, right? That is a bad thing because all of a sudden now you kind of get lopped into, the gardener, the lawn person, right? The person that cleans your house potentially, all the service thing. We don't think about doctors as a service. Yeah, well, your medical service, right? No, it's a practice, right? It's a professional. Same thing with your dentist, same thing with your accountant, same thing with everything else. We don't think about it in terms of services, so therefore they're highly valued. So number one is never let your clients, politely remind them, hey, we're all about relationships. We're all about outcomes, right? You've got to make sure that you don't get into the service category with your clients or with your marketplace for that matter. Right? It's all about relationships. Really, really important. Now, the other thing we need to do is recognize that for a lot of us, the function that we grew up doing, right, which is maybe financial planning and investment management, is going to become highly automated. Right? It is becoming highly automated. We hear robo this. There are already startups with funding who are going to do virtual financial planning. And so, again, those processes, right, are going to become, more commoditized. So then what do you do? So in other words, now what exactly am I doing now? What am I serving? What am I offering? Well, here's what you're offering. If you really want to play at a big scale 10 years from now, you've got to become an educator, a teacher, a coach, a guru in that regard. Because what's going to matter is you. Advisors and planners are going to become more personality driven in terms of their identities. People retain you because of your beliefs, your philosophies, your quite frankly your content, how you educate, how you coach, how you train. Because in the future, that's going to be the value add. It's not going to be about just running money. It's not just going to be about financial planning. It's going to be about ultimate value creation. And the only way you're going to be able to create that ultimate value is by getting your mind around what do I need to do to really make this happen. Now, I've got several clients who are way down the road on this, and I will say to you, it has a profound difference in how they're perceived, in kind of what we can get from a fee perspective, because again, they're highly valued. They're not looked at everybody else. And by the way, I know some of you sitting there saying, well, I don't need a national show or do rate. No, I'm not saying that. In your local market area, you got to get the identity as a go-to person. You got to carve out your tribe, your niche, your followers, put whatever terminology you like on it. And I know for some of you this may be like a little uncomfortable, like, we're not building a cult here. But at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. It's starting to matter now. It's going to matter more in the future. And I'm just saying to everyone who watches me, who subscribes to me, look, you could wait and play catch up, or you can start figuring out now how to do it. And look, I don't care if you're Wirehouse, RA, anywhere in between. The rules still apply. You need to go ahead and create ultimate value. So that means you've got to do client educational events. You should be doing webinars, right? You should be publishing. If you're so inclined, you can do video and podcasting and everything else. All those things are important. I think podcasting is going to be a really big deal. I think video channels are going to be a really big deal. And you need to start figuring that out now so that you can go ahead and have that competitive advantage now, not 5, 10 years when you're trying to play catch up. where the opportunities are for the first wave, who get there, carve out a niche, and dominate. So make a decision. Either play catch up or get out there and play big. The bigger you play, the more successful you become. Have a great Tuesday.